Good morning to everybody. You are connecting slowly. So for the time being, I will give some welcome salutes to everybody and fixing the housekeeping rules for the webinar of today. So I'm Giulio Poggeroni from EUBIA, partner of the BIOMAC project. And today we are hosting a very special event, an online event, where we have actually 4 European projects funded in 2020 and that started in 2021. And these are 4 projects aimed at creating open innovation test beds, which are innovative environment dedicated to support innovation in the field of nanomaterials, supporting SMEs. Some of you may know already that these 4 projects have opened 4 open calls that will allow SMEs to access the services from this project that developed in the last 2 years. So today we will have the 4 introduction on the 4 open calls from the distinctive speakers from each project. But before that, we will have a keynote speech by Rosica Vasileva from the European Commission, who is the project officer of the 4 projects that are intervening today. One last comment on the Q&A. You can type in your questions in the Q&A box. We will try to answer them at the end of the presentations. And in the last part, you can also raise your hand. In that case, we will grant you the possibility to open your microphone so you can also interact with us. So without further ado, I will give the floor to Rosica. Please, you can unmute yourself and switch on the camera. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Giulio, and thank you to all that have joined to listen to the information that the 4 projects are going to share with you today. It will be a very useful piece of information, and I'm really grateful that you saved 1 hour of your time to listen to the presentations of the 4 projects. Probably you are already aware of OITB concept and what does it mean. But I would like to still briefly remind and outline some more key elements and what is behind that. Why it was decided to proceed with open innovation test beds. We understand that the testing and validation of new technologies is essential before placing them on the market. And here is the place of OITBs. They are physical facilities that are destined for development, testing, and upscaling of nanotechnology and advanced materials in industrial environment. The second thing that is important is the speed and also taking into account the complexity of innovation. So it needs to be accelerated, and also a capital, not a negligible amount of capital is needed for investments. So here is the place for OITBs to help you with that, so they can offer you services, wide range of services, from validation in laboratory to producing of prototypes that can be tested in industrial environments. As I mentioned, that's usually a lot of capital is needed, so financial resources, and more often the SMEs and startups do not have them at their disposal, and they cannot afford to invest in their own infrastructures. And here the OITBs can offer you facilities and services that are accessible and that can provide you assistance at fair cost and also fair conditions. How you can access services provided by OITBs. We thought about that and we decided to use it through the single entry point. So each OITB has a single point of contact where you can firstly address your inquiries, and they will help you and guide you which services exactly will be more suitable in your case. Also, OITBs could be beneficial to reduce the risk of investments in new technologies. They harmonize the conditions for materials upscaling and characterization and modeling, also to improve the market access. They can increase the return on investment in materials research. Also, not very negligible, which is important also for the policy making, is to provide information on the EU regulators and how to make the materials development process more efficient. And they contribute to the transition to greener technologies and turn nanotechnology and advanced materials accessible to all industrial sectors. That is why the European Union is investing quite a big amount of money, providing funding for structures as OITBs are. It has started in Horizon 2020 program, where around 270 million were dedicated to OITBs for 22 projects in 7 different areas. And we continue with the funding still in Horizon Europe program, where 34 million budget is destined to projects in OITB projects. And the areas that are priorities for the time being and that have been chosen for the OITBs to operate are the characterization, also lightweight, nano-enabled, multifunctional composite materials and components, materials for building envelopes, nano-enabled bio-based materials, which is exactly our case today, and you'll have the pleasure to listen from the 4 projects that operate in that field for OITBs. Also nano-enabled surfaces and membranes, pharmaceutical production, safety testing of medical technologies for health, and also we have OITBs for climate neutral and circular innovative materials technologies. Today we will listen, as I said, from the 4 projects, but also if some of you are interested in the activities and services that can OITBs from other areas provide, I would only strongly encourage you to get in contact with them and seek for the information and organize yourself to benefit from the possibilities that they can offer to you and to your businesses. So once again, thank you very much for attending this webinar. I'm really convinced that the information you will receive will be useful for you, and be numerous in applying for the open calls of those 4 IITBs and also the other OITBs in the other fields if they fit your business plans. Thank you very much. I wish you a fruitful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rodica, for your words. Then, without further ado, I will give the floor to Zoe Terzopoulou from the BIOMAC project. Zoe, the floor is yours.
From me too.
Okay, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Please go ahead.
So good morning from me too, once again. Today I will briefly present you our project, which is the BIOMAC project, and the services that we can provide via our open call, which is now open. So very briefly, what is the BIOMAC project? It is one of the OITB projects in the call that our project officer already mentioned, where technology solutions that will utilize nano-enabled bio-based materials will be upscaled and prepared for market applications. The overall vision of the BIOMAC project, but also our sister projects, are to boost and sustain innovation in the field of bioeconomy by reducing the time to market of novel nanotechnologies, and as a conclusion, as a result, reducing the cost and risks for SMEs and other companies to upscale their novel concepts. We have 34 participants in the project, a budget close to 17 million, and the coordinator is Aristotle University from Thessaloniki, where I also work, and I am the project manager. We have a team of experts from all around Europe, people that are very experienced in the field of bio-based polymers and also additives, that have a lot of experience in technology transfer projects, business management, and also exploitation strategies. So these our partners are widely distributed around Europe, and they can provide the services based on their expertise. We have 17 pilot lines that provide technical services and a lot of complementary services that are accessible by open access through our single entry point, which is represented by the IBB network in Germany. All of our services have the goal to develop, test, and upscale materials and products in the field of bio-based nanocomposites. Our pilot line covers the value chain, the whole value chain, starting from biomass fractionation all the way to final bio-based nanocomposite products. We have separated our services in 4 different hubs. We call them 4 different hubs. Each one provides a different services, and the pilot plan hub is the first one. This is the hub that has all of our technical services. It consists of 17 pilot lines separated in 3 clusters that I will talk about in the next slide. We have the validation hub, the market update hub, and the value chain hub. The 17 pilot lines of BIOMAC are separated in these 3 clusters. The first one is the biomass fractionation and pre-treatment cluster, where we have the ability to pre-treat and separate biomass into its main components on a large scale with different techniques. One of them is a combination of organosolvents in explosion and also with hydrothermal pre-treatment. The second cluster can produce the intermediate materials and also nanomaterials. The nanomaterials that we can produce in our pilot lines use the fractions from the first cluster, the fractions of biomass, which are lignin, cellulose, and hemicellulose. And these nanomaterials are different types of cellulose, nanolignin, and also biochar, which is produced from pyrolysis. Other chemicals that we can produce are polyols and diols, succinic acid and lactic acid, which are known monomers for the production of bio-based and biodegradable polymers. From these monomers and nanomaterials, then our third cluster, the final products cluster, can produce different types of materials like thermoplastic polyurethanes, polyesters such as polylactic acid, its copolymers, and also nanocomposites. We can produce thermoset resins, different types of coatings, and we also have the ability to process these materials with additive manufacturing, different 3D printing methods, and produce printed electronics, and finally nanopatterned surfaces with roll-to-roll nanopatterning and thermoforming. Our validation hub has the goal to examine the feedstock, the technologies, and products from a chemical, environmental, and economical perspective. In this hub, the services that we can offer are quality control and characterization with a wide variety of characterization equipment that we have available within the consortium. Standardizations to make sure that the materials products comply with standards, or in case we need to develop new ones. And process validation and modeling, where we have developed a lot of sensor-based systems that monitor and evaluate the state of the system of our pilot lines, which can also offer it as a service to potential applicants in order to optimize their processes. The value chain hub can provide services around the environmental monitoring, resource efficiency, logistics, as well as cost analysis. The first set of services offered by this hub is sustainability assessment with LCA and LCC analysis, supply management with the development of a decision support tool, which is an optimization model to minimize and maximize the value of interest. There's also going to be a decision support online platform. And with the circular economy services, which is the definition of sustainable recycling and end-of-life management strategies and guidelines that can be offered. Finally, the market update hub is supporting businesses, regulatory compliance, and data handling. The services offered by this hub are innovation management with business plan development, exploitation risk assessment, IP rights and patent mapping, exploration of freedom to operate, and also can offer finding different funding sources and investment in assessment. The health and safety services are essential because we need to be able in such kinds of materials to reduce the potential health and safety risk, and regulation services to assess existing rules in the field and security compatibility with the current regulations. and the data management services, which include data governance, analysis and design, database management, security, and quality assurance. In this slide, you can see a summary of all the services and materials and technologies that can be offered by our Open Innovation Test. The full description of all this, you can find them on our website. We also have a handbook with details about each pilot line, each service provider, what exactly everybody can offer. Briefly, the materials that we can produce, I can see them in the middle, that are all derivatives of lignocellulose biomass, and that can be transformed to the corresponding nanomaterials. We have the monomers, different monomers, lactic acid, sucrinic acid, the polymers of the polymers, as well as nanocomposites of combinations of these polymers and nanomaterials. The technologies that we use to produce these materials and to manufacture our final products are a wide range of different equipment, which includes screen printing, coatings, reactive extrusion, pyrolysis and carbonization of biomass, and all different pilot lines that I also mentioned before. And this is an overview of the transversal services that support the success of these new materials concepts that we are here to develop for you. Inside the project, we have 5 internal test cases that we are currently developing to demonstrate our capabilities. These 5 different test cases that we can use as examples as success stories for the services that we can offer to other SMEs are in the fields of automotive, agriculture, food packaging, construction, and print electronics. In each of these test cases, we are combining different polymers with different nanofillers to achieve appropriate properties based on the needs of each application. For automotive applications, we're developing tough and flexible components for cars or with bio-based polymers that will contain also nanocellulose and are suitable, can be produced with 3D printing. This is an example of a picture of a sun visor, a prototype of sun visor that we produced for this test case. For agricultural applications, we're developing biodegradable bioplastics based on biopolymers, which are lactic acid, made of lactic acid and sucrinic acid from our pilot lines. And in we're preparing nanocomposites with nanocellulose and nanolignin biochar in order to achieve certain properties such as accelerated compostability and biodegradability, UV blocking properties, etc. For the food packaging test case, we are developing transparent and compostable biodegradable film based on PLA reinforced with nanobacterial cellulose, nanolignin, and we're also going to pattern the surface to give them self-cleaning properties and antibacterial properties. For the construction test case, we will develop some prototypes with our 3D printing pilot line, and this will be made for biomass-based UV and fire-resistant polymers to make a footprint module prototype. Then in our final test case, the print electronics ones, we are developing bio-based inks reinforced with the different nanomaterials produced in our pilot lines that will also be productive with the incorporation of biochar, and also flexible thermoplastic substrate that can be produced by reactive extrusion. The open call of BIOMAC is currently open, and it will be open for applications until the 15th of June. Via our open call, we are offering our services free of charge to at least 5 parties, which can be SMEs or other stakeholders. It can also be large companies, but we are prioritizing SMEs. This will be chosen via evaluation of the proposal, which will be submitted via the open call. And we will upgrade or develop new concepts within the lignocellulosic value chains of nanomaterials, starting from technical readiness level 4 or 5. So an applicant must have already this technical readiness level, and then we can develop either a new concept or to upscale something that is already there. This proposal will be submitted online to our website. It's very easy. Someone just has to make an account, and then there are templates ready to be filled. And the chosen proposal will have access to our open innovation environment, which will be all of our services depending on what they need. The 5 selected test cases will be implemented from September 2023 until the end of December. And we have an estimated budget for all our test cases that we will select about €1.5 million. As I said, you can apply via our website, and the deadline is the 15th of June. The process is generally that an interested party has a concept with an entry TRL level of 4 or 5. It has to be within the materials and the technologies that we possess, so we can actually help. And after the selection, which will take place in the end of June, we will start developing these test cases without charging the applicants, but in September. And finally, I want to say that despite that we have chosen 5 applications right now to demonstrate and validate our project, the capabilities of our project, we are open to applications from all different kinds of areas, even new ones that we haven't explored. We're currently, besides implementing our internal test cases, we're also studying and reading the literature and keeping informed about applications of such materials in different kinds of applications. Thank you all for your attention. I would like to invite everyone to take a look at our website. And if you have any questions at all, we're always here to answer them for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zoe. So I again stress the invitation to everybody to post your questions in the Q&A box, or at the end of the full presentation, raise your hand, we will give you the floor. Then going forward, I will give the floor to Barbara Pereira from the BIOMAT project. Barbara, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara. I'm here representing the BIOMAT project as the SAP manager, and I will talk to you a bit about our open calls and about our project. The main goal of our project is to establish an open innovation test bed, the BIOMAT TB, to provide services to a wide range of European industries and SMEs in order to accelerate and facilitate the uptake of innovation in nano-enabled bio-based cellular materials. Our targeted markets for proof of concept will be the building, construction, automotive, and furniture and bedding industries. The main idea behind our project is to explore sustainable alternatives to the production of foam products by taking broadly available low-value residues from the agricultural and forest industries and use them to extract compounds of interest such as lignin, silica nanoparticles, or vegetable oils, and use them to produce new value-added biocomponents and biomaterials such as prepregs, biopure foams, and lignoadhesives and adhesive promoters with appealing properties such as flame retardancy, hydrophobicity, and antimicrobial properties. These new biomaterials can then be used to be incorporated in new nano-enabled bio-based products for our targeted markets, such as sandwich panels, seat cushions, sofas, mattresses, among other options. And finally, due to the use of sustainable resources, these products have the potential for reuse after sustainable recycling processes. As other OITBs, our BIOMAT TB will be operated through a single entry point. Our is CTV. CTV is an already established company in Portugal that works as a certification body. It will be the common point of contact between the clients and the service providers, and will allow the open access to our wide range of physical facilities and to our technical and horizontal services at fair conditions and competitive prices. So what do we have to offer? Here you can see the services that are available through our BIOMAT TB. It is a very polyvalent catalog of services with the goal to provide support in all aspects of product development, from lab to pilot scale and even on to industrial scale, covering the entire value chain. As you can see here, they are divided into two major groups, technical services and the horizontal services. And for the technical services, we have 12 pilot lines divided into 5 major groups that are dedicated to the pilot scale production and to recycling. They are the production of biofoam precursors, such as nanofilled polyol and resin formulations in biopolyols, the production of biofoam adhesives like functionalized bionanofillers and biopolyol grafted bionanofillers, the production of bioadhesives and FRP panels, such as lignocellulosic adhesives, bioadhesive promoters, and BioEP PFA panels or prepregs, and the production of biofoams, semi-rigid and rigid biopure foams, soft and flexible, and low-density aerogel panels. Finally, we have the chemical and chemoenzymatic foam recycling. Our horizontal services include those of business support. They are products characterization, where we offer a service where you can have the characterization of the functionalities of the products, of the foams or the particles and products developed, digital twin pilot and inline monitoring with miniaturization, optimization, and simulation of processes, nanosafety and toxicity tests with physical and chemical characterization of nanomaterial, screening toxicity, and standard screening toxicity tests, LCA and LCC studies, mentoring for funds raising for SMEs and startups, business development and marketing with support in the commercialization of the final products, and legal and intellectual property support with help in the definition of the foreground of the company, of the best IPR protection, and of the business model in relation to intellectual property sharing. Right now, our open tender is launched with the first call open. This open tender will be a beta test of our OITB, and through the open tender, we will be offering our services free of charge to the customers that are selected. Our first call is closing in 1 month, so we will be receiving applications until March 31st. If any of you have interest in applying, you can apply to this first open call. You need to go to our SEP web platform. You can go there through this link or go to our website where you will find all the information you need. To apply, you just have to go to the platform and fill out a simple application form that will be the basis for the evaluation of your proposal. The evaluation is the second step. When the call closes, we will evaluate the proposals we received from customers. We will evaluate the service and its feasibility. The selected customers will receive the service free of charge. When the customer is selected, they need to sign an agreement with the SEP and the service provider. That agreement will have all of the details of the service to be executed. Only after the agreement is signed, the service provider will start to execute the service. We want the results to be delivered to customers within 6 months, but that time will depend on the course, the type, and the requirements of each service. To talk a bit more about our project and in detail about the services we provide, we have one more workshop. It is a free workshop. It's a hybrid event, so it will be online and in person. In person, it will take place in Germany on July 20th of this year. And if you have any interest in coming to our workshop, please follow us on social media, where we will be sharing more information on how to go to our workshop. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any doubts or questions about the project, about the services, please contact us. You can do it through email or go to our website. There's a lot of information there, and also our contact information. And you can also reach us through our social media. We have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You just have to search for BIOMAT project and you will find us Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Now it's the time for Carmen Sanchez from the BioNanopoLys project.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm Carmen. I'm the coordinator of BioNanopoLys, but I want to give the floor to Angel Salmenar, that she's the responsible of the open call inside the SEP we have already established. So please, Angel.
Hello, good morning to everybody. Thanks for attending this meeting. So we want to present BioNanopoLys. And the main important point is that we are going to explain our open call, and we are trying to do this more commercial presentation. So if you want to develop bio-based nanomaterials, and are you asking yourself any of these questions, I had an innovative idea, but I need experts to cover the entire approach, or I do not have the capacity for the non-technical development task as IP management, regulation, business development, or if I need easier access to pilot plants for testing my materials, I need help to bring my product to the market, or my network is lacking important representative of the value chain. So we can help you in order to give answer and support to all these questions. Okay. So the main important things that are covered in BioNanopoLys testbed are the development of safe nano-enabled bio-based materials, the development of polymer bio-nanocomposites, and the development of materials for multifunctional and new advanced applications. Okay, so all these industrial sectors are covered in the BioNanopoLys scope: polymers, pharma, packaging, hygiene, textiles, food, agriculture, additive manufacturing, and cosmetics. Okay, and all these types of organizations can access to BioNanopoLys services. Large entities, SMEs, startups, companies, research centers, university groups, public entities, NGOs, and industrial associations. What can we offer you through our testbed? So we have 14 upgraded pilot lines. We divide these 14 pilot lines in 3 different networks. The first network is dedicated for nano additives and raw materials. The second network is dedicated for bio-nanocomposites, and the third one is dedicated to obtain the final bio-nano products. Okay, and on top of these technical services, we offer technical transversal services as quality control and process optimization, inline monitoring, modeling, and simulation. All the services that can help us in all the process parameterization needs. Okay, and on top of these technical services, we offer also the non-technical services that are focused in the route to market, as the life cycle assessment, the safety evaluation of biomaterial, the compostability and recyclability analysis, food safety, techno-economic assessment, and business support. Okay, all these services are available through our single entry point. We have established the single entry point 15 days ago, okay, as a new legal entity, and you have all the information in our website. You have all the portfolio of services, and you have all the detailed information of all the services. Okay, so your benefit as a user, you can access to an integrated platform of technologies and scientific expertise devoted to the nanotechnology based on bio-based raw materials, efficient support by a comprehensive service portfolio for the development and integration of new bio-based nano-enabled products, and experience help to accelerate the introduction of these materials into the market. Okay. Who we are? We are 20 core partners and seven industrial partners. You can see all the partners in these slides. And the most important point is that we are currently running all the validation cases with these 7 industrial partners as an example of all the services and all the help that we can offer through our testbed. Okay. And just to explain the main important points of the open call. Sorry, I'm going to, I don't know why it's not this slide here. So I'm going to explain the open call procedure and how can you access to it. The first stage of the open call has started the 17th of February and will be open till the 30th of April. We are splitting the open call in 2 steps. The first step is very easy to fill all the information in our website, in the application form. So all the companies, universities, etc., that you think that we can help you in your cases or in your developments, you can access to this first stage till now from the 30th of April. After this first stage, we establish an evaluation committee. We will evaluate all the applications and we will contact with the selected companies or selected cases in order to complete the second step with more specific and technical information. Okay, so in the end of June, we will contact with the final applicants, the final selected applicants, and we will offer through the SEP, through the single entry point, we will offer to you all the pack of services that we think that can help in order to develop your specific cases, okay? And the cases will start in September. Okay, we'll start developing the 5 technical cases with the 5 non-technical services. So through the open call, we are offering 5 technical validations plus 5 non-technical services. Okay, and these 5 plus 5 services will start being validated in September. Okay, so this is all. Carmen is our project coordinator. We have here our link to the BIONANOPOLYS website, and in the website you can find also the application form in order to access to our open call. And this is all from our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It is time for the last presentation from Mathieu Lyon from the INN-PRESSME project. So Mathieu, the floor is yours.
Thanks. So I will try to manage to share my screen, almost. Here we are.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody. My name is Mathieu Lyons. I am from IPC, the French Plastic and Composite Research Center. So I'm going to present you INN-PRESSME pilot line and the products. Here we go. Just some facts, some figures. So INN-PRESSME, as you can see, is an OITB who started 2 years ago. meaning that now, like the other one, we are in the verge of the second open calls. That's what I'm going to present you at the end of this presentation. INN-PRESSME is coordinated by Ulla Forstrom from VTT, and she's coordinating 27 partners. In a nutshell, INN-PRESSME, of course, is similar to the other OITB that have been presented today. Of course, it's about developing new market-ready products from bio-based materials. And the idea here is also that we can make some feedback conversion as well to integrate bio-based filler, bio-based additive within the plastic that we are synthesizing. For instance, PHA. We are able to synthesize PHA and other, of course, additives. We are also putting some nano-enabling technology on the table to be able to process it. We will see in the later slides that what kind of technology we proposed. And we address specific markets, for instance, packaging, energy transport, and consumer goods. The idea also is to have the recycling of all this product included in the process. So kind of an eco-design thing. We are proposing some recycling testing, biodegradation testing, and so on, to make sure that what we add in the bioplastic is still recyclable at the end. The pilot line at our TRL 7, so we are proposing semi-industrial pilot line, so to be able to have some product really ready for the market uptake. So on my side, I will focus more on examples of calls, of example of projects that we had, as I said, in the packaging or the energy transport or consumer goods. So let's start with the packaging. As you might be aware, the packaging industry is on, let's say, a little bit of stress, if we can say that like that. There is a lot of new regulation, new legislation that are appearing quite quickly, modifying, let's say, the landscape. For instance, if we're taking packaging or single-use packaging, the obligation to have it recycled in quite a near future. Let's say that we are addressing this kind of pain point, industrial pain point. So for instance, concept like monomaterial packaging with barrier coating. Let's say we are putting some high barrier coating on the monomaterials packaging, so they could be recycled. So we are proposing some different kind of coatings, Cycles coating, bio-based dispersion or extrusion coatings, and also, as I said, nano fabrication technologies such as multi-nano layering extrusion. Different kind of concept could be proposed, for instance, bio-based foam extrusion, PLA foam, for instance, to tackle this kind of packaging as well. The end of life, of course, everything under the umbrella of end of life management. So we have different kind of testing, as I said, on recyclability or anaerobic digestions. That's for the packaging industry. So now for the energy and transport, the idea here is to propose some concept or some products on the battery or ultracapacitor market. Again, the idea here is to propose bio-based materials, could be cellulose nanofibrils, cellulose nanocrystal, that would be integrated in the electrodes of the battery or the ultracapacitor to improve its energy storage capacity while, let's say, transforming it into something more sustainable. The idea also to replace toxic or non-recyclable components like PVDF by some bio-based carboxyl methyl cellulose, for instance, are the kind of product and ideas that we are putting on the market. As I said, it's very close to the industry in terms of scale, so we are at most technology of roll-to-roll pilot line at TRL 7 are available, and especially in this kind of market of use case. So it's more something that are, let's say, embedded by CDTech in Spain with their special division on battery. Consumer goods. So even if it's a larger market, the idea is to be able to propose something more global for clients. Here, the idea, for instance, if we take an example of this shoe sole, the idea is to replace the elastomer that you can have, fossil-based elastomer that you can have in the shoe by some bio-based material. So the idea is to go back to the compound study and let's say studying the integration of bio-based additives or fillers into let's say the materials, the bio-based materials, and study and produce the filaments for later stage 3D printing. We could also work on the functionalization of this shoe sole with a fungicide coating. And then the idea is to integrate all this technology here by ITIP in Spain. So the additive manufacture, redesign the shoe sole with additive manufacturing technology. Here is fused filament fabrication, and then an automatic application of this coating on the shoe sole. So here you have 3 examples of different market, different application that we are currently producing and that we can and we are also producing for external client open in the frame of the open call. So feedback, as I said, the project is 2 years old, a little bit more now. The first open call is finished. We are on the verge of the second one. So some advice or some feedback. So for the moment, we received good proposal, meaning that enough number of proposal with a, let's say, high quality, enough quality that make us confident that we can proceed with the rest of the project. The evaluation is ongoing, so we will have a definitive answer for that later this month. And a bit of advice also, we are more focused on the upscale rather than the, let's say, a complete research and development activities. That's why we are more pushing, let's say, small project. It's a matter of speaking, a 9-month project with a budget of 100K, that could fit more about the upscaling of upscaling strategy, let's say. The main advice that I can say today, it's to be, let's say, to be helped by a partner's project, a partner's project, yes, someone within the project. It's very important that you get in touch with one of us early on, so we can help you to design your projects that could fit very closely to our expectation, and of course to, let's say, fine-tune the work plan and so on. That's my main piece of advice. So that's pretty much it for me. In a nutshell, let's hopefully meet again before the 2nd of May, because we can start early on for the last cutoff, the last deadline of the open call of INN-PRESSME, which would be the 15th of June. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mathieu. Thank you very much. So there were some questions that have been answered already in the chat. If you have more, please post them. Otherwise, now we have some time for you to raise your hand. So again, you can use the option on the in the area below the screen. So you can, if you want to post an oral question, please raise your hand and we will give you the floor. Otherwise, you are encouraged to follow the channels of the projects that you have seen today. We have posted in the chat the links to the websites. You can follow them on LinkedIn, where regular updates are posted. And remember that the open calls are open and you have time to submit your application. The deadlines vary, as you have seen, from project to project. I don't see anybody raising the hand. So last call for raising the hand. Don't be shy. Otherwise, we will close the webinar, which anyway will be made available to everybody. You will be able to follow it, to watch it on the YouTube channels or on the websites of the 4 projects. I see a hand raised from Ulla. I don't know if Ernesto, can you allow her to speak?
Yes, I think I'm allowed to speak.
Okay,
So
yeah.
hello everyone, and thanks Matthew for giving the presentation. I'm unfortunately on sick leave, but I thought that I come to listen to you. And the only thing I want to point out is that even if we have a smaller projects, so we have 1.6 million reserved this, so we are then subsidizing more projects than maybe the other projects within the two open calls. So, but from the first one, we have already received maybe half of them, and then from a second one, we hope to get more. Very nice presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I see no hands raised. So again, you can submit your questions to the respective projects using the standard channels, emails, and LinkedIn messages. So I thank you for your participation, which remained quite stable for the whole duration of the event, and we'll keep you posted on the news from the OITBs, and this won't be the last cooperation activities between the 4 projects. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you to the attendees, and see you next time.